of the UFCW and from the AFL-CIO. This is fantastic because we have to show companies like Crown, Cork, and Seal they can't get away with taking advantage of working men and women today. All around the world they're attacking workers' rights, but they haven't tried to attack the steelworkers like they're trying to attack us in Toronto. United Steelworkers Local 9176. We have a campaign that we're going to fight today. We're going to fight it in the UK. We're going to fight them in Turkey. We're going to let the world know what Crown, Cork, and Seal is doing. And we want them to get back to the table and negotiate a fair agreement. Yeah. So what do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? And when do we want it? Now. What do we want? And when do we want it? Now. Okay, brothers and sisters, gives me great pleasure to introduce right now from the Philadelphia AFL-CIO, Liz McElroy, who's the Secretary-Treasurer. Let's hear it for Sister McElroy.
All right, good afternoon, brothers and sisters, and welcome to the great city of Philadelphia. In this city, I am the Secretary-Treasurer. I'm Liz McElroy, Secretary-Treasurer of the AFL-CIO here, and I like to say that I proudly represent 150,000 workers lucky enough to have collective bargaining on the job. Brothers and sisters, Philadelphia is a union town, and I'm here to say that companies like Crown cannot do something to our brothers and sisters anywhere in this world, and we won't stand up and fight back right alongside with you. So if we have to be here every day, if we have to take this on the road, go to Turkey, go to the UK, come to Toronto, we'll do it, brothers and sisters, because this fight is all of our fight. And I just want to say one more thing. You know, it's popular these days to say something's not your father's this or your father's that. Well, brothers and sisters, this is my father's labor movement. This is a labor movement that stands side by side. Public sector, private sector, building trades, everybody together in one fight. And we will be here one day longer with you, brothers and sisters. Stay strong, do what you have to, and send Crown the message that we won't take it anymore.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is from the UFCW, who's come to show us their support today, Mr. Don McGregor.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Once again, welcome to Philadelphia. I'm sorry to our brothers and sisters in Canada that you have to come here under these circumstances. I bring greetings from Wendell Young IV, President of UFCW Local 1776, and the 23,000 men and women who are part of our organization. We pledge our support. We will continue to fight this cause. We will not let corporate greed, like what Crown Can is doing to you folks, exist throughout the rest of this country. We will fight every step of the way, and as Liz said, we will last one day longer. Thank you. Welcome to Philadelphia, and fight on, brothers and sisters.
What do we want?
Contract!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Contract!
And when do we want it?
Now!
We're dealing with a company here, brothers and sisters, that couldn't even look us in the eye at the negotiating table. They screwed around for months. They didn't even get into the monetary package to the last day when they knew that there was a deadline, and it was insulting. This is a company that gave our employees a letter saying that they were the best employees in North America. This plant in Canada was one of the best producing plants, the best health and safety, and this is the thanks that we get. By working with them for the last 3 or 4 contracts, we've always got along. Now it's time for us to draw a line in the sand. So let's say it again. What do we want?
Contract!
And when do we want it?
Now!
Now I'd like to introduce a fellow steel worker and the Secretary-Treasurer of the Pennsylvania AFL-CIO, Brother Frank Snyder.
Thank you.
On behalf of President Rick Bloomingdale, myself, and over 800,000 hardworking women and men all across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I bring you greetings, but more importantly, support. Support, because when I look at what's sitting right in that yard right there, a scab is a scab is a scab. Whether it's in Toronto or Philadelphia or any place else in the world, it's a scab. Now, I understand that you had a long trip down here. So I will keep my remarks uncharacteristically short. But let me just say, yes, but let me just say, just as Liz said, something you should know about this great city of Philadelphia. By every measure, it is where democracy was born.
Here, here.
Not far from here is where 56 men came together. 56 men came together over 200 years ago and signed the Declaration of Independence at Independence Hall. I hope you can make your way through there as you leave here today. Because think about the courage that they have. And I think about the courage that you have. Because that's exactly what you have. It's courage to come down here on their turf to face them face to face because of what they're doing to all of you. Now, you're the ones at 9176 that built this company what it is today. They built the company off your backs, and now they're trying to take money out of your asses. And we're not going to let them get away with it. Not in Philadelphia or no place else. Let me just say this. It's a good thing that we're in a union city called Philadelphia, Liz. This is a union city. And you're damn right I'm a steel worker. I'm a proud steel worker. And I'm so proud of the courage that you have for coming down here and the commitment you have to one another. I would be remiss if I didn't just say, as you think about your fights, because your fight is our fight, I want to mention Dean Showers from Reading, from Hoffman Industries, another steelworker facility that was locked down. I want to mention the Teamsters that were here, and the plumbers and the painters and the fitters, and all the unions along with UFCW and the CWA that come out here and showed your support. This is a union city, sisters and brothers, and when you leave here today and head back to Toronto, our 800,000 members are going to be here in Pennsylvania. We got your back. Your fight is our fight. I'm so proud to be a steel worker. I'm so proud of you.
Okay, brothers and sisters, the next brother that I'm going to introduce, I'm very proud of. When I serviced this bargaining unit years ago, he was the grievance chair. And I had another assignment. I came back as the assistant, and I went into negotiations, and he's been elected the president of 9176. And when I saw him at the bargaining table, and he wasn't going to give in, no resolve to what the company was offering, it made me damn proud that he's a steel worker who's come up through the ranks, and he's showing this company, you're not going to push us around. We're going to draw a line in the sand. Let's hear it for President of Local 9176, Ken Heatherton.
Thank you, sisters and brothers. My name is Ken Heatherton, and I'm a proud steel worker. My father was a steel worker going back to the 50s, and he worked for this company too. Okay? Let me tell you something. When we got to the table, the first thing the company said is there are no concessions in our offer. And then they told us they wanted to delete our cost of living allowance. They wanted to delete our justice and dignity clause. They wanted to remove the union presence from the plant, and we said, sorry, that's not good enough. It wasn't good enough then, it's not good enough today. It's not going to be good enough tomorrow. I can't tell you how great this feels to see this kind of support in Philadelphia. It's really wonderful, and it's really, really impressive to me.
All right, yeah.
Thank you very much for your support. And when the tide turns, and you guys need us, we'll be here for you too.
Yeah!
Woo! Okay, our next speaker, I go back a long, long time with him. I'm sure I didn't have gray hair. We were kids. Is the staff rep who's been the staff rep for 4 collective agreements for over 12 years. And I want him to say a few words. Lawrence.
All right, Larry!
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. It's wonderful to be here today, and it's wonderful to see the support for Local 9176. And as Ken said, we went into bargaining this time, and the employer told us they had no concessions on the table, and then proceeded to give us a big list of concessions. I have to say, and I want you to recognize the group of folks that came in here from Toronto today, because I've watched them on the line every day. And I've watched their strength build. I've watched their determination build. And I've watched their solidarity build daily. And they're a wonderful group of people. And they're ready for the fight with this employer. This is an employer that is trying to take away their COLA. This is an employer that's trying to minimize union presence in the plant. This is an employer that wants to take back everything that we've tried to that we have earned over the years. And this localist said, that's it, line in the sand, we're not going to take it anymore. In addition to that, they tried to demoralize the members in that plant by bringing in scab labor. And I'll call them what they are. They're scabs. They shouldn't be there, and it's a tragedy that they're in that plant.
Scab!
And when they were recruiting the scabs, listen to this. When they were recruiting the scabs, they said to the scabs, this isn't about settling a dispute. This is about breaking the union. That's what they told the scabs. Well, let me tell you something. I got a message for Conway in there. And I'm going to borrow a line from my president, Leo Gerard. If Conway and his Gucci shoes, latte drinking, coupon clipping, pocket picking cronies think that they're going to break our union, not gonna happen. When they're not gonna break this union. When they sat down at the table with us, they bargained for a fight. Well, let me tell you something. You're gonna get the fight you never bargained for. We're gonna win this thing. One day longer, one day stronger. Solidarity, brothers and sisters.
All right. What do we want?
Contract!
And when do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Contract!
And when do we want it?
Now!
I'm losing my voice. Okay, the next speaker needs no introduction. He's someone we all admire, and it gives me a great pleasure to know that we have his support, and he's going to be with us right to the end, as everybody is. But let's hear a big round of applause for USW International President Fred Redmond. Vice President.
Thank you, Tony. What do we want? Contract! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Contract! When do we want it? Now! Brothers and sisters, it is so good to see you here. I first want to bring you greetings on behalf of our President, Leo Gerard. I spoke to Leo about 30 minutes ago. He said, you started the rally yet? I said, no, we waiting on the bus. He told me to tell you, Tony, to put your foot on the damn gas and hurry up to get here. Drive like him. But on behalf of Leo and all of the officers of the Steelworkers and our entire executive board, I want to welcome you to the city of Philadelphia. And I want to thank all of our Steelworker members and our union colleagues who came out with us, because they know that this is a fight for all of us. I want to say that, and also I want to thank Philadelphia's finest, the Philadelphia Police Department, who have worked with us throughout setting this whole thing up. I want to thank them, because this is a union town. Woo! You know, I got a lot of stuff to say, but I'm going to try to keep it brief. One of my responsibilities as Vice President is I'm responsible for the Container Industry Conference, which means I coordinate bargaining in the glass industry, in the plastics industry, and in the can industry. I've been dealing with ground cork and seal for a long time. If you talk to some folks, they may say it's been a little too long. But let me say this. This can industry is an industry that at one time led the steelworkers in terms of collective bargaining. Everything we ever accumulated in basic steel and in our other non-ferrous industries came from the can industry. We went through a period of decline in this industry. In our union, as we went through that decline, we saw companies that was bought up by other companies. We saw this industry shrink And we have always worked within this industry to maintain jobs that pay good wages and benefits. And there's been occasions when we had to push back. We struck this company before, 1992. We struck Rexam for 3 weeks when they came after our retirees' health care. I got to get back to Pittsburgh because tomorrow I got a meeting with Silgan, a food producer, people who make food cans here in the United States. And they want to come talk to me about pensions. And the problem is, all of these companies are profitable. They're making money. They're not in the red. These are very, very profitable companies. They decided not to reinvest back in the United States or Canada. They're building plants all throughout the world. They're following Coke and Pepsi and Molson and Budweiser and Schlitz all around the world. Wherever they build plants, they build can plants. This is a profitable company. And when Lawrence called me and told me that we had some issues at 9176, it was hard for me to fathom that. Because this company have told me that the highest producers in North America was in Toronto.
Here, here.
The plant that they have the best safety record is 9176. The plant where they produce with less scrap is in Toronto, 9176. So let's be clear. And let's understand what this fight is all about. This isn't about workers who are not producing and not doing the job that they're supposed to do. This isn't about wages and benefits because they're making the money hand over fist. This is an assault on our union. This is an assault that says no matter how much our members carry out their responsibilities and show up for work every day, make a quality product, a product that can't be compared to any other product that's being made throughout their organization. Regardless of the fact that our members held up their end, they're not going to hold up their end by sitting down with our folks and negotiating a fair agreement. This is an assault on our union. And that's why we're here today. Because this isn't about 130 some odd workers in Toronto. This is about an attack on the United Steelworkers Union. And this is about an attack on all of our workers who go to work every day. And the only thing they want to do is to make a decent living and support their families. But they're not going to be rolled over. And they're not going to be taken advantage of. And we're not going to let them use 9176 as an example of their anti-union mentality. That's not going to happen. When they thought that they were taking on 9176, and this comes straight from Leo Gerard, they have declared war against our union. And when you declare war against the steelworkers, you better go ask somebody what that means. What that means is today, while we're having a rally here, we're having a rally at this moment at a Crown facility in Turkey. What that means is, at this moment, while we're having a rally here, they're leafleting Crown facilities in the United Kingdom. And what that means is, all of our Crown represented facilities in the United States today is standing with you in solidarity, passing out leaflets in their facilities. And what that means is, if they don't come back to the table, we're going to wrap this up, and there will be no peace with Crown, Cork, and Seal until they treat our members with the dignity and respect that they deserve. You know, we don't go around and we don't look for fights, but we don't run from fights neither. And all of our members at 9176 carrying your membership, y'all should hold your heads up high because you took a stand for all of us. If Crown could get by with what they're trying to do in Toronto, then they're going to spread that sort of mentality to the rest of the unions, steelworkers, machinists, UFCW, and wherever they hire union members. If they can defeat us in Toronto, then they're coming after all of us. So I just today want to say thank you, 9176. Thank you for taking a stand for all of us. Thank you for taking a stand on behalf of our union. You're on the right side of this fight. We're right and they're wrong. And don't you forget that. We're going to be with you, and we're going to make sure that I'm going to make sure that I'm in Toronto when you walk back into the plant, because you're going to walk back in with your heads held up high, because we don't give up, we don't surrender, we don't cave in. And I know this is tough whenever we're not bringing home a paycheck and our spouses start looking at us kind of funny, wanting to know what's going on. The fight that you're fighting is for all of us. For the 850,000 steel workers throughout the United States, Canada, and the Virgin Islands, we're all proud of you for taking this position. Because you have done what you were supposed to do as employees. You report to work every day, you do your job, you do it with perfection. Crown recognize it, and then they come to the bargaining table and forget about it. So what we're going to do today, I have a letter from Leo Gerard that I want to deliver to the company. And Leo is putting Crown on notice that they have picked a fight in the wrong place, at the wrong time, with the wrong union. Because we're going to fight this fight. We're going to fight this fight until there's no fight left in us. We're going to stand one day longer than Crown stand. We're going to do everything that we can to make sure that you're treated with dignity and self-respect. So don't you give up. You just hang in there. Keep your heads up high, because you're doing the right thing. The position that you have taken was right. Our union is right. And we're going to see this fight through until justice comes to every worker and their family in Local 9176. Thank you all. I can't tell you how much it means to our union for you to make that long ride to come out here today and deliver this message to this company. And let me just close out by saying this. When we say an injury to one is an injury to all, a lot of people take that as just a slogan. But in our union, we mean that. When they came after us at Ballet, when they came after us at Local 6500, we showed that company that an injury to one is injury to all, and the steelworkers mean that. When they came after us at Rexham 4 years ago, and we showed that company that when you mess with one local union and the steelworkers, you're messing with all of us, and we won that fight. And there's no question in my mind that we're going to win this one. So I just want you to hang in there. I'm going to be with you along with Leo and the rest of the officers throughout the way until we get this issue settled. We're going to try to get these folks back to the table. And when they come back to the table, if y'all have me, I'll be at the table with you. And we're going to let this company know that the day of them running over unions, stepping on unions, disrespecting our membership, because 9176 took a stand, Crown, those days are over. Thank you very much.
Okay, brothers and sisters, that wraps up our speeches, but right now, myself, Fred, Lawrence, and Ken are going to walk down and deliver the letter. After we do that, we'd like you to stand around the rat, which represents how the company's treating us like a rat. And let's get some pictures and let's have a rally. I want to take this opportunity before we wrap up. I want to thank all of our brothers and sisters from District 10. I want to thank the AFL-CIO. I want to thank the UFCW and all the other unions that were here prior to us arriving. So thank you. Solidarity forever. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? And when do we want it? Thank you, brothers and sisters. Solidarity.